welcome back to my Let's Play for Pokemon Crystal. And this time it's time to clear out the path north of Cerulean City, you know, for getting to Misty later on. I have to admit, this episode always bores me to tears because the enemies out here just aren't challenging enough to be worth my time. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about them besides, you know, knock their teeth out, you know, one by one. Because, you know, I just have to do it. There's no getting around it, unfortunately. It's always just a very tedious prospect. I wish there was something, you know, fun going on at the same time. I mean, at least when I was covering, you know, the episode in the sky where I had to take out all those zombies, at least at the end of it you had the horse wiener thing going on, you know? Which I eventually went to the trouble of tracking down a legendary horse wiener for my character. Didn't put on the main character, I put on one of the, characters I created to help me in battle, since you can make your own ragtag army, so I gave the, female archer a horse wiener. A legendary horse wiener, no less. You know, so it's like 3 times the size of a regular one, I assume, you know? That's why it's legendary, because it's just so massive. Yeah, it's a weird game like that sometimes. Sometimes it's serious, other times you got the really screwball comedy going on for it, which definitely makes this guy, Hour of Darkness, a really fun romp for me for the most part. Except for the last episode, since it covered the saddest chapter in the game. And it always brings a tear to my eyes somewhat when I think about it. I think it's partially just the music and, Flan's, breakdown of, what happened. Just gets to, you know? Unfortunately, you know, I can't be all-go-lucky happy about, you know, another project I'm working on. Because, you know, I got the most boring one from me. Though I also need to go and try and get around to covering most of the other games I've been working on, because it's been weeks in some cases since I've updated them. I don't know, I'm guessing it's gonna be a late night tonight. Assuming I don't stop to work on grinding and Forbidden Memories. Which I probably won't. I don't know, I can only stand playing that card game probably for 30 minutes to an hour at most, so I might try and work on it between recordings. Though I'll definitely have to turn the sound off if I do that. To that game in particular. Actually, turning the sound off may not be too bad of an idea. While I like the music somewhat, hearing the same song for hours and hours, I'm sorry, just gets so tedious, you know? I think that's one of my main problems when I find a new song I like. I listen to it so many times in a row, I sort of just burn out on it really fast. Then I can never listen to it all the way through again sometimes. Like, you know, I've heard these lyrics so many times, it's kind of stuck in my head somewhat. Ah, poison powder, eh? Darn it. This isn't an era with, facade punch yet, so, you know, I can't get a more powerful attack off because I've been poisoned, unfortunately. Or whatever it is that slacking does. Oh, a Vaporeon, eh? Well, I suppose I could switch over to the Golden Ladybug and go for a Thunder Punch. Ugh. I don't know. I would have preferred fighting Lieutenant Surge and his Thunderbolts than doing this right now. Oh, wow. A whopping, what, 9 points of damage? Truly amazing, you know? That's something I'll be forever afraid of. Jeez. Well, that's that. Though I suppose, I mean, I wish I could give, Heracross Rock Throw when I get to Red. Since I'm probably going to be relying on him to basically deal with my rival. Well, I guess he's not technically my rival, but, you know, my ultimate adversary. Well, I guess I can toss a full heal of Heracross's way. Come on, let's do it, Heracles. And there is a DS game about Heracles I could do one of these days, too. Just never got too far into it the one time I tried it. I have a soft spot for Greek mythology, I won't lie. That's why my Heracross is named after Hercules, using a different variation of the name. But, gosh darn, do I, find Glory of Heracles a bit boring to play. Probably because the enemies get really strong really fast. You really have to power level, or just be very strategic about battles and spend lots of SP. which means grinding for cash so you can afford to do that. Ugh. And I really don't like to spend excessive amounts of cash, usually, unless I have to. I'd rather hoard my money until the very end. It's why I've got, you know, over 200 million Bordeaux on Phantom Brave at this point. Like, I'm sitting on a literal gold mine, I don't want to spend it even to get better characters right now. Because I could build, you know, a better archer with, like, 35 stat points instantly available to her if I'm willing to drop, you know, like, 2 million Bordeaux on it. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's expensive, you know? I can find better uses for that money. Like, I don't know, buying $2 million worth of weapons to fuse into characters so they can raise their maximum level? Yeah, I know, that's not really a better use for that money, since having a better character overall would be helpful in the long run. I could give her a better base attack stat and HP stats and stuff so she grows faster and stuff. And it's just overall superior. It's like, you know, just a little too stingy for that. Despite the fact I have a way to raise 50 million Bordeaux in like 30 minutes, still don't want to do it. Though I covered that trick in an actual episode. Can't say it was part of this Let's Play series since it was its own thing. Because I did do a massive jump cut in it just because of how long it takes to pull off. For a leveling trick, it's not too bad early on, since it lets you get some characters that are higher up, so you can then set yourself up for failure dungeons. But it is a bit tedious. Because you have to pass a lot of turns. It's sort of like if I ever do on Disgaea 2, which I probably will cover after I beat Disgaea 1 and Etna mode, since it has an alternative story mode for the ports, thankfully. Though I have to admit, I prefer the PS2 version. Despite the fact it doesn't have Etna mode, I just think the voice acting's a bit superior. Especially for Etna, since she's the only one that really changed to the main cast. The change is really noticeable and really felt, unfortunately. And I definitely have a soft spot for Etna, considering my avatar on YouTube. She's easily my favorite character of all time. Well, that's done for Paris. Paris, the most useless bug Pokemon out there, basically. I know, I shouldn't badmouth Paris too much since I relied upon one once upon a time, but that's because it was a bug run I had no other choice but to. I suppose with this bug run I proved that's not entirely true. You have your options, but all of them are basically about just as bad. I mean, you can have Ladian run not fire, Ice and Thunder Punch, and it still doesn't have much utility going for it. You have to hope it gets lucky and pulls off a freeze or something. I suppose I could have used it here instead of relying on Heracles for crushing defeats, but you know, I want to make sure these bugs know, you know, who's superior. It's Heracles, you know. Though Heracles definitely has his weak spots. No, not really. If I was kidding, I wouldn't have wasted my time fighting you at all. Yeah, I figure. But I'm not that tired out. I'm still raring to go, okay? Like, they barely even hurt me. That's why this part's so gosh darn boring, and why I spent talking about other games. That's how tedious this is for me. I'd rather talk about other stuff than what's currently going on. Not exactly a good sign, is it? And why is Porygon always so expensive to buy in these games anyway? Or at least the first generation it was, like 9,999 coins, like, why? Porygon is terrible. Like, sure, it's got stuff like Sharp and I still have to raise its attack stat, but it has such a low attack stat to begin with, it doesn't help it that much, and it has to do it in order to attack. I mean, I like its gimmick with being able to change its typing, so, you know, it can try and resist the attacks you're throwing at it. It's definitely helpful somewhat, you know, when you're trying to resist moves. But your opponent can also take advantage of that, you know, by setting themselves up to basically hit you with moves that they themselves are weak to, or if they have dual typing, you know, hit them with something that'll grab onto, then follow up with an attack that's strong against that typing. Like when I fight Kecleon, sometimes I'll do stuff like that. Hit him with like a flying attack, then follow it up with like a thunder move or something, you know? Well, yes, we'll have the Earthquake. Poor Cryhorn. It's just always getting crushed. Just terribly so. No matter what team I run, I almost always can find a weak spot I can hit on the darn thing. Has to be depressing for it. It wants to stand up, you know, as a champion, then keeps getting knocked down. I think we'll let Brown Recluse do this one. I should still have Dig, you know? And if nothing else, you know, it's a more interesting fight than what we've had so far, hopefully. Okay, Dig attack. Oh no, you tried to slow me down. Oh, I guess I had the claw pull off, so I only got to go first because I was lucky. Well, time to follow this up with a Nightshade. Assuming I survive, I guess. And will I? If only just. Eat it, Charmeleon. You're no match for the giant spider. And that leaves, what, a War Turtle? Yep. Oh, I guess we'll switch over to Ladian. Go, Golden Ladybug! Use your Thunder Punch! Teach that turtle some respect! I mean, sure, you slew dragons, but that's because, you know, you had time to power up. Probably gonna wish I'd used, Reflect or Light Screen here. Well, maybe not. Well, dang, that didn't do much. Going with a Dark Attack, huh? Not your best choice there, War Turtle. Should have tried using Hydro Pump. I know, he probably doesn't have Hydro Pump, but you could have at least used Surf, you know? How is that good? You only did major damage to one of my Pokemon. And that's because it was super slow. Well, whatever. Next time we'll make our way to the power plant and take care of the Team Rocket member. And set up for the Misty battle. Until next time, then. See ya.